Let's say this sunglass of mine, all right? If the lens of this glass is very dirty, then the planet, when it is looking into my aura through this lens, it's going to inject dirty energy only inside my aura, weak energy, corrupted energy. But let's say it's very clear, like as clear as this one. So when the light of that particular planet is getting inside through this lens, the gemstone is a lens, right? A filter which is enabling you to get the energy. Then you are gonna get pure energy of the planet. All right, because a gemstone, when it is formed in the earth, in the core or the crust or the mantle of the earth, so if your second lord is afflicted, you will not have a good energy. People with Ketu in the second house, they can't wear gemstones that much. People who are having Ketu conjunct a particular planet, let's say Ketu Sun, they can't wear ruby. Ketu Venus, they can't wear this thing, diamond or opal. So hello ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to Purabs universe. And today in this video I'm going to talk about gemstones, the reality creators in astrology. All right. So when I'm talking about gemstones, I'm talking about gemstones. I'm not talking about crystals. Okay. There is a big difference that people, they wear different sort of crystals, like let's say moldavite or citrine, amethyst crystal, right? Quartz crystal, rose quartz, etc., etc. So crystals are a little less purified and clear version of the gemstone. Both are obtained from the, the core and the crust and the mantle of the earth, but the gemstones are more pure, more transparent, more clear. All right. There are 4 C's in a gemstone: color, cut, clarity, and carat. All right. The more clear, transparent, luster, vitreous the gemstone is, the more better astrological results it's going to give. It has to be natural, astrological, unheated, untreated, no chemical enhancement, nothing. Okay. So once you have identified a true gemstone, the next thing is how to wear it. All right. Now, the fact of the matter is that a gemstone, even though it is astrological, it is natural, untreated, and you have matched all the criteria that's required before wearing a gemstone, the primary thing that needs to be done is that it has to be activated, programmed, aligned. All right. So let's say that you're planning to wear a ruby. Well, you have to look at a good nakshatra in which you're going to wear the ruby, and it's better that it is during Shukla Paksha, that is the growing moon phase, when the moon is going towards Purnima. That's Shukla Paksha. And also via transit, the planet Sun, whose gemstone is ruby, has to be in a good position or in a good nakshatra at least. Let's say it's very urgent, you need to wear the gemstone, all right? But you're not finding a good transit. Let's say Sun is going through Virgo, okay? Or let's say Sun is going through some other sign, let's say an inimical sign like Capricorn, all right? So there also in Virgo, you can wear the ruby when Sun is going through its friend's nakshatra, Mars's nakshatra, which is Chitra nakshatra. And for the same reason, let's say that Sun is transiting via Capricorn, and there also you have got a Dhanishta nakshatra, which is a Mars nakshatra. Okay. So you can wear gemstones. Number one, it has to be the day of the planet on a Sunday. Okay. Or it has to be the day of the planet Sun's friend, which is a Tuesday or a Thursday. All right. After that, you have to make sure that you're wearing the ruby during the Sun Hora, when the energy of the Sun is the most predominant on that particular day in the 24 hours. All right. And then you have to make sure that via transit, the Sun is going through Aries, or let's say the Sun is going through Cancer also a little bit, Leo, or let's say Sagittarius, right? Or it's going through friendly nakshatras, Uttarashada, Sun Nakshatra, Kritika, Sun Nakshatra, or friendly nakshatras, like let's say for example Punarvasu, Jupiter Nakshatra, alright, or for that matter, let's say through Chitra Nakshatra, Mrigashira, because fire element has to be well placed in the nakshatra element such that it can completely give you its result, alright. Then you have to chant the mantra of the planet. For example, for Sun it's Om Ram Hrim Ram Sa Surya Nama. And after chanting the mantra 108 times, you have to pray to the sun god, Surya Dev, in a way that you have to ask him the specific intent that you need to get fulfilled after wearing the ruby. Alright. So this is the way that you have identified a very good gemstone, and then you have chosen a very good date, and now you're wearing it. Alright. There are higher octaves also about gemstones, alright. But before I come to higher octaves, I would want to give you a very important fact that whenever you're thinking about wearing a gemstone, alright, please make sure that the placement of the planet Saturn and the placement and the position and the dignity of the second lord of your horoscope is decent enough, alright, because Saturn is the significator of the 8th house. Whatever substance you are getting, let's say longevity or inheritance or insurance, or let's say getting a treasure from under the earth, for all these things you need to have a strong Saturn to have that patience to dig through and to get something from underground, from the mines. Mines is Saturn Rahu energy, alright. So if in your natal chart Saturn is exalted or in Capricorn or in Aquarius, or let's say in a friendly sign like Taurus, right, or let's say Mercury sign, Gemini or Virgo for that matter, then the overall experience wearing gemstones is enhanced. This is one funda, okay. The second funda is that whichever planet's gemstone that you're wearing, alright, it has to be posited in a good house from the moon. That the planet can be in the 4th house from the moon, or the 7th house from the moon, 5th house from the moon, even 2nd house is decent enough, 9th from the moon, 10th from the moon, 11th from the moon, 9th from the moon, 10th from the moon, 11th house from the moon, but it should not be in the 6th house from the moon, or the 8th house, or the 12th house. If it is in the 6th, 8th, 12th, then it has to be in own sign or exaltation or mool trikon in a good placement, alright, because when the planet is placed in a strong position in whichever house it has gone from the moon in good dignity, then when you're wearing it, you're going to experience positive effects, because moon is that which experiences the life. Moon is the entity which is experiencing the Mahadasha, the Antardasha, everything at an emotional level, alright. So that's very important to see that the planet whose gemstone you are planning to wear is in a good position from the moon, alright. Now what happens when you're wearing the gemstone, alright? So you must have watched a very amazing movie called Avengers, alright. And in that movie, and in Endgame, there is a demon called Thanos, and he's searching for the Infinity Stones. You know, he has, I think, 6 Infinity Stones probably, and he makes a apparatus and he's fixing the Infinity Stones, and when all of them are getting combined, he's becoming so powerful that with the click of a finger he is able to vanish half the people from the world, alright. So gemstones are very powerful, alright, and gemstones are like infinity stones and reality creators, alright. Now I am underlining and highlighting the word called reality creators, alright, because when you're wearing a gemstone, a proper well activated, well selected and very good energy gemstone, it's gonna create a different reality for you. It's gonna alter your existing reality, Reality means your existence level itself is going to get altered. All right. For example, let's say that you have a good Venus but weak Venus. Remember that you need to wear gemstones only when the planet is well placed in your horoscope, but it is weak, or it is under the influence of some malefic planet, maybe Sun, maybe Mars, maybe Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, whichever. But you have to cross check and see if that particular planet, for example in this case Venus, it has always given you decent results during its dasha, antardasha, pratyantardasha, prandasha, sukshmadasha, whichever they are, Vimsho3. Alright. So once you are convinced that the planet is a good planet for you, it is trying to give you good results, but it doesn't have that amount of strength and energy to give you good results. And when you create its reality by wearing its gemstone, that is when magic happens. Alright, because at the time of your birth, you were deficient of that planetary energy. Right? Because via transit, when you were being born, like taken out from your mother's womb, and when the umbilical cord was cut, and when your own horoscope, the second horoscope, the first horoscope is created when you're inside your mother's womb and the soul is entering the body, and it's impossible to find out that horoscope, and that's even more powerful than the one which is created at the time of our birth. All right. So the second horoscope, which is our actual birth horoscope, all right, let's say at that time Venus was hemmed between malefics, all right, or Venus was conjunct with some malefic planet, but also aspected by a benefic planet. All right. So what happened is you were not able to absorb the energy or the light of the Venus planet inside your aura when you were being formed or coming out as a child. All right. So you will see that when you couldn't properly absorb the energy of Venus into your system, your body, your aura, your thought process, your psychology will lack Venusian qualities. Okay. What is Venusian quality? Cleanliness, purity, and understanding self-worth and self-value. People who have a bad Venus, they don't understand their own value and they keep getting exploited because they are not able to understand their own value. That, okay, I am also a good person. I am also having some talent, some capabilities, and I have value. And people with bad Venus, they're easygoing, like they're ready to make out with anybody. All right. And there is a word in Hindi which is called patlum dhila, or langot is dhila, which means loose character or very quickly ready to give themselves to someone else. That's a quality of Venus gone wrong. I'm not saying that each and everybody who's having an afflicted Venus will have it, but Venus under Rahu influence, Venus debilitated, right? Such states, and also aspected by malefics, can create Venus in Aquarius in the 8th house, right? Or Sun debilitated along with Venus in the 8th house can create some planetary combinations. All right. The point is, you have a good Venus, but the Venus doesn't have strength to give you good result. Okay. So when you're wearing a Venus stone like a diamond, or let's say an opal, what happens is the aura, the energy of planet Venus starts getting injected inside your body slowly, steadily. All right. For people who are active, like people who have got a very strong 8th house, a very good Jupiter, who are sensitive to the play of the planets, when they wear a gemstone, it'll just take maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute for them to observe the changes within themselves also and outside, like what reality is getting created. All right. But people who have less sensitivity, maybe 8th house is not that strong to understand, or Jupiter is not that well placed in the horoscope. So slowly you will see that the nature of the person, the character of the person, the personality, the body language, the sensuality, the respect towards female, the respect towards art, culture, and music will automatically start developing in the aura and in the personality and in the psychology of the person who's wearing the gemstone of Venus where Venus was lacking energy-wise, and he wore the gemstone and his energy got concentrated and he's manifesting. Your Venus reality has got created. For example, let's say that you have an afflicted Venus. Whenever you'll think that let's plan to go to a 5-star hotel or a 7-star hotel, or 14-star, I don't know if that exists, but let's say a 14-star hotel, like where the presidents and the prime ministers go for fine dining. People who have a bad Venus, they'll be hesitant, they'll be reluctant, they'll be nervous. The body language will give it out. Okay, that I'm not supposed to be here, I'm the black duck here. Okay, ugly duckling. But if you give that person an opal, or if you give that person a diamond, and if the person is wearing it, and then when you're asking the person to go to this Venus environment, because airports, the 12th house, Venus gets exalted in the 12th house in Pisces. So airports and resorts and restaurants and hotels, all right, all these things are Venus energy, all right. When you go to airport, you have to buy the same water for 600, 700 rupees, whereas the same water is being sold outside for 20 rupees. So Venus's value, Venus increases, all right. So gemstones needs to be worn for those planets which are good in your horoscope but weak. It can be debilitated also, but the planet is giving you good results in the dasha, antardasha, and during the antardasha, pratyantardasha, you were not suffering, you are not having loss of family members, you are not having any negative things as such. That's the good planet for you, all right. Now, there is something which is very interesting, all right. Generally, whenever people are doing astrological calculation to find the approximate gemstone, okay, you can look at the Lagna chart, the Navamsha chart, the Mahadasha of the planet, the angle between the moon and the planet, all right, the dispositor of the planet. That is, let's say Venus is placed in Aries, then Mars, looking at the placement of Mars, how Mars is acting, all right. This can give you a picture, okay. But I'm going to give you $1 million secret about gemstones, that if you want to understand in actuality what kind of a life, what kind of an energy, what kind of a theme, what kind of a movie you're going to watch during the dasha antardasha of a particular planet, okay, then you have to go to KP system, all right, and in KP system you have to go to nakshatra nadi, and in nakshatra nadi you have to look at the sublord of the planet, all right. Planet gives results of the sublord, as simple as that, okay. For example, I will display a nakshatra nadi chart here. Look at this, all right. In this nakshatra nadi chart, the sublord of Venus is Ketu, and the sublord of Ketu is Venus, okay. So the reality is, when this person will undergo Venus Mahadasha, he will actually be undergoing a 20 years long Ketu Mahadasha, because the sublord Venus has become like Ketu, okay. So if the person conducts himself, and if the person manages a lifestyle like Ketu during the Venus Mahadasha, then Venus is going to give him good results. But if the person is spending in luxury and fine dining and wine and parties and events and things like that, then Ketu will detach. Okay. So this nakshatra nadi, you look at the nakshatra nadi of any planet, let's say Saturn or Jupiter or Mars or Moon. Here in this case, if you see the nakshatra, in the nakshatra nadi chart, the sublord of Mars is Mars itself. So if you wear a red coral, this person, then it's going to give very strong Martian results only. Okay. But if you're wearing a cat's eye, or if you're wearing a Ketu stone, okay, in that case, this Ketu is going to give him Venus results, all right. So the person can get confused and dread that, okay, Ketu Mahadasha is approaching, what can happen, what wrong things can happen, etc., etc. But actually, if the sublord of Ketu is Venus, then wealth, luxury, finances, liquidity is going to come, okay. Condition being that Ketu should not be aspected by Saturn, Rahu. Rahu, of course, is always opposite to Ketu. To some influence of Rahu will always be there in Ketu. But Saturn, Mars, Sun, if they are afflicting Ketu by aspecting it or conjoined with it, then things can be difficult. But if it's a lone Ketu, no conjunction or aspect of Saturn, Sun, Mars falling over it, and Ketu's sublord is Venus, then Ketu Mahadasha will be like Venus Mahadasha, chilling mode, okay. So this nakshatra nadi is a concept which can empower you and make you fearless, because you know, right? Let's say, for example, in this, the nakshatra nadi of moon is Saturn. Okay. So moon periods are going to be like Saturn, mentally frustrating, delay oriented, slow. All right. Whereas, let's say the nakshatra nadi lord, the sublord of Saturn is Rahu. So Saturn Mahadasha is going to give Rahu Mahadasha results, like power, amplification, right? So if you wear gemstones based on this nakshatra nadi concept also, where let's say the sublord of the planet is strong and a good planet for you and always been giving you good results during its dasha anta dasha, then also it's going to create miracles. Okay. So in short, after speaking for 20 minutes, I'm trying to say is the gemstone of the planet is creating the reality of the planet, because your aura alters and it starts emitting the light and energy of that particular planet. For example, let's say you have a weak and afflicted Mars. If you have to go to the police station, or if you have to go for a street confrontation or something like that, then you will feel nervous. But let's say that you have added a red coral, all right, for 2 days or 3 days, automatically that courage will come. But when you remove it, it will go away, because absorbing the energy of the planet at the time of the birth and taking the energy of the planet through gemstones are two different things. The moment you are removing the gemstone from your body and your aura, immediately the energy of the planet getting injected inside your body and system is stopped. So again you will come down to your normal self, your natural frequency. But when you're wearing the gemstone of a particular planet, let's say yellow sapphire or pearl or blue sapphire or Mercury's emerald, whatever the case may be, then you're altering your frequency, you're increasing your energy, and you're vibrating at a Mercury level now. You're vibrating at a Saturn level now. Okay. There's another point here, that if you're wearing inimical gemstones, non-compatible gemstones together, okay, then also it will create a confused aura. All right. And if some planet in your horoscope is already very strong and you're further enhancing it by wearing a gemstone, for example, Jupiter is exalted and you're wearing a yellow sapphire. In my case, Jupiter is exalted, but it is aspected by Saturn, so the energy is blocked. So when I wear yellow sapphire, I'm giving the Jupiter that much amount of strength such that it is able to fight the aspect of the Saturn, and it is getting free enough, powerful enough to give me the Jupiter vibes. Otherwise, I have to wait till 35 when Saturn will mature and its aspect will become weak, and then I'll be able to get the results of Jupiter. So let's say I want the results of the exalted Jupiter sooner, I'll wear yellow sapphire and enhance it a little bit. There also you have to look at the degree of the planet, the nakshatra of the planet, and decide what gemstone color theme should be there and how much carats you have to wear. All right. So to some extent, it's true that if an astrologer's judgment is very good, he'll be able to give you a proper size of the planet also. You have an exalted Mars and you have Saturn in Cancer. From Cancer, Saturn is aspecting Mars. Okay. The degree of Mars is very less, but the degree of Saturn is higher. So Saturn is more powerful and is dominating this Mars. Okay. So if you wear a 3-4 carat red coral, it's not going to help you fight Saturn's aspect. But if you're wearing 8-9 carats, then the lower degree planet is going to become enhanced. It's going to get more energy to give its exalted results. Okay. So choose your infinity stones, your gemstones carefully. Enhance it, wear it properly, activate it, give it an intent, program it, wear it on a good nakshatra, good tithi, good date. All right. Also do a proper reading and get your gemstone selected for you. All right. By doing it, your life will be modified. Your experience can be modified. Let's say there is a fixed destiny that we all are going to die, but we all are also going to achieve some milestones in our lives. Okay. So the milestones that can be achieved, how quickly, maybe you're going in a Honda, you'll reach your destination at 150 km/h top speed. But if you're in a Lamborghini, or if you're driving a Porsche or a Bugatti, then of course you're going to save a couple of hours. You're going to reach there quickly. So your gemstones should not be translucent and inclusions and black spots in it, etc., etc., because these are infiltrations of impurity by other planet. If there are black spots or brown spots, then there is an aspect or presence of Rahu and Ketu energy in the gemstone. If there is a crack, it's a Ketu energy in the gemstone. If the gemstone looks very dirty, very mila, less lustrous, then there is a Saturn influence in the gemstone. The gemstone, don't worry if your budget is tight, you can buy 1 carat or 2 carat ruby or yellow sapphire also of fine quality, luxury, super clarity, and you can wear it instead of wearing a 5 carat neelam which is like opaque or translucent or has inclusions in it or cracks, fissures and all. Instead of that, go for a smaller gemstone but an absolutely good gemstone. Because let's say this sunglass of mine, all right, if the lens of this glass is very dirty, then the planet, when it is looking into my aura through this lens, it's going to inject dirty energy only inside my aura, weak energy, corrupted energy. But let's say it's very clear, like as clear as this one. So when the light of that particular planet is getting inside through this lens, the gemstone is a lens, right, a filter which is enabling you to get the energy, then you are gonna get pure energy of the planet. All right, because a gemstone, when it is formed in the earth, in the core or the crust or the mantle of the earth, and this gemstone has perfectly formed without any chemical or scientific intervention, then it is having a pure and vibrant energy of that particular planet. But let's say there is a lot of mixing of energy, impurities and dust and less clarity and whatever, right? That means the gemstone was not absorbing the energy of pure Saturn or pure sun in the case of ruby, and neelam in the case of Saturn, and yellow sapphire Jupiter, like that. Okay, so I think I'm able to give you some snippets and valuable information on gemstones. So I'll be back with more such things, like, for example, new research of mine shows that ruby gives fine results in the left hand also, even better than the right hand, but for certain people only, not for everybody, right? It's more stable. For example, a person who has got a sun in the first house, like me, when I wear ruby in my right hand, it burns literally my head, my eyes, my aura itself becomes in like a very burning mode, because sun is always burning, right? But when I'm wearing it in my left hand, it's controlling the energy of the sun also, it is giving me the energy also. So I have ego, but it's a fine ego. I'm having energy, but it's a balanced energy in the left hand. Whereas when I was wearing it in my right hand for so many days, headache, migraine when I wear it for a long time, burning of the eyes, okay, and getting angry for small stuffs, all right. So it indicates that sun is already powerful, but ruby helps with clarity. Astrologers should wear ruby because the sun only knows the past, present and future. When you're doing a consultation with ruby versus without ruby, your quality will vary. I'm telling frankly, truthfully, because everybody needs to understand. But that doesn't mean that, okay, because I've told, so you will go purchase one ruby, you'll wear it during consultation, and sun is Marak or it's in Maran Karak Stan or in the 8th house, and in the Navamsha also it is in the 8th house conjunct with debilitated Mars, aspected by Rahu, creating accident, yoga or something. No, you have to have clarity. Number one, find the planet which is weak, but well, a friend who is weak doesn't have the power to fight and give its own results. Okay, then after identifying that planet, look at the placements, the Navamsha, and then the nakshatra nadi that I told you, and then see if your Saturn is well placed in your horoscope and the lord of the second house, and the second house is well placed, because second house is gems, jewelry, all right, the experience that you're going to get by buying exotic and costly things like gemstones. So if your second lord is afflicted, you will not have a good energy. People with Ketu in the second house, they can't wear gemstones that much. People who are having Ketu conjunct a particular planet, let's say Ketu Sun, they can't wear ruby. Ketu Venus, they can't wear this thing, diamond or opal. And diamond doesn't suit everybody. Diamond suits people who have got an extremely pure and good Venus. Venus aspected by Rahu, Venus Rahu conjunction, Saturn Venus conjunction, Saturn in Libra and Venus in in Taurus or whatever, malefic influence in Venus. Diamond doesn't suit. Rather, opal works better. All right. So this is what I wanted to convey about gemstones. I'll make a series of video on gemstones only because there is so much to say, right? And I've made a video, the best video on gemstones ever. You just go watch it because I've told a lot of things about gemstones, cosmic color, aura, why red coral's cosmic color is yellow, not red, right? So a lot of things. So that's it for today, guys. I hope this video enlightened you. I'm back. I'll try and regularly make videos because till 2026 April I'll be running this Ketu Antardasha and Saturn Mahadasha, and Ketu is not indicating the third house. So even though I'm trying to make videos, I'm not able to do videos because of some things or the other, lack of interest or personal problems or involvement, engagement, whatever, right? So eventually whatever is meant to happen shall happen and will happen. All right. So I'm not promising that I'm going to make videos regularly, but yeah, I'll try my best to do it. So take care of yourself, take care of the elderly people and the stray animals around you. This is Purab signing off again from Purabs Universe. Adios, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Vande Mataram.